think ahead. Brown Funeral Homes, Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome in to Miller time on this Tuesday. The week is going very quickly, even though it's a Tuesday. Monday went by like nothing. Tuesday, here we are. It's already 5 o'clock and time for Miller time.
And our week's nice and fun because we have 2 high school football games this week.
Which I think is part of the reason why things are moving so quickly.
Our week really has to be done by Wednesday for Thursday and Friday.
Extra elements that must be put into place.
Fun times.
And then the nights have been shorter, watching a little bit of football, whether it was the travel to Philadelphia as the Bulldogs in Academy Park played, or then the NFL games and or college games through the weekend. Monday night football, Pittsburgh and Tampa. We got a chance to at least see the first half together, so a lot going on. But we jump right to the WVU Medicine Berkeley Medical Center talk line as we welcome in a man affectionately known in the morning hours as Financial Phil from Bunker Hill, but in the evenings he is going to be known as Volleyball Phil from Bunker Hill. We've got Phil McCoy joining us. Phil, good evening.
How are you guys doing today?
Very good. How about you?
I'm living it up. We've got a big game coming up here, so there's a lot of excitement down here in South Berkeley.
Yeah, there you go. We wanted to get you in and talk a little bit about it, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to at least one or maybe both of the coaches involved tomorrow once we see how this match plays out. But tonight it's Musselman and Hedgesville, which is not only a big match here in the Eastern Panhandle, but, Phil, this is really a very big match around the Mountain State. Why?
Well, absolutely. Last year, if you ask most people, they would say that Musselman and Hedgesville were probably 1 and 2 in the state. Hedgesville came up a little bit short from getting to the state championship, but they gave Musselman everything they could handle last year in the regionals and also here at home during the regular season. Well, it went all the way to 5 sets. And, it's almost not fair the way that the system works for who goes down to the state tournament and who doesn't, because if you threw Martinsburg into that grouping as well, they probably belong down there too. But there's always Musselman and Hedgesville, and then Martinsburg throws in there every now and then. And just a few years ago, Martinsburg and Musselman played in the state championship. So they're very competitive matches, and, man, they bring out the crowds. A lot of excitement. If you're a sports fan, I'm an old football guy. Shepherd's football offensive lineman, but now converted to volleyball due to daughters. It's definitely a fun sport to watch. And to see the athleticism of some of these girls, it's definitely impressive.
For those who may not have kept up with the Musselman volleyball season so far, take us to how the season has gone up to this point.
Well, and typically the way Coach Martz likes to work is that the season's gone well, but they travel a lot. So they're searching for the best of the best tournaments. And they have been on a trip to Tennessee. They've been on a trip to Kentucky, and they're playing big schools. And chances are that they would never see these schools again in normal play, but that's the only opportunity they get to play them. So the record doesn't look what a state championship record would look like, but they're also playing state champions from other states. Last year they went down to Virginia Beach, and it was a tournament of champions, and everybody in their pool, the way volleyball systems work, everybody in their pool were state champions, and they actually won that. But they've had a good season so far. The local matches they played Jefferson, won that in 3. They played at Martinsburg, a competitive 3 sets, but they also won that in 3. So it's going well so far. And the same thing for Hedgesville. Hedgesville started off with some injuries. Early in the year, they had one of their big hitters that was she was limping around some, so she had some injuries, but she's back now. And there's definitely excitement in the air. The date is circled when Hedgesville's coming to town.
As you watch these two teams play, and you'll be doing the public address for the match tonight that is at Klein Court up at Musselman, what is it that maybe sets these teams, especially Musselman and Hedgesville, but as you mentioned, even Martinsburg and volleyball in the Eastern Panhandle, what is it that you see about these teams that sets them apart maybe from others around the state?
Experience. These girls put such effort, and it's really hard to put in the words the effort that they put into it. And I'm sitting here with a few of my rec league players right now, that, it starts in the Berkeley County Rec League. And it's actually Rec League night here, so all the girls that play in the Rec League. And then we bring out 240, 250 kids every year to play in this Rec League. And it starts there. They move on to travel, and it's a year-round event. They almost never stop. And it goes from, when you're younger, it goes from Rec League into travel, and then it turns into JV, freshman, directly into travel. There's barely a day off. The day after the state championship last year, these kids are in here for tryouts for travel, for club ball. So a lot of it's experience. They've seen a lot of volleyball, and they played a lot of volleyball, and it's their power. Here in the Eastern Panhandle, and you take your pick with the schools, but with those three in particular, Musselman, Hedgesville, and Martinsburg, and these girls can hit the ball. And you could be a grown man, but if you get hit with one of those balls, you're gonna be in the concussion protocol. I guarantee you that. So they can bring it. And you can see them play, and the way they anticipate, their athleticism, the way they play, their unity. It's fun to watch, and it's a very good rivalry that I hear a lot of respect. It stood out to me last year, even though Hedgesville had a disappointing loss, because they were better than the team that beat them to go on to play Musselman. In my opinion, they just didn't bring their A game for that one. But they hung around and they cheered Musselman on. You don't see that a lot. So they hung around and they joined the crowd. And very competitive games here this evening and last year, but they do stick together. They know each other from club. They've played together for a long time.
You mentioned the 200 plus girls that are in the feeder system. Is that just for going to Musselman, or is that for the entire Eastern Panhandle?
Oh, no, that's the whole Eastern Panhandle, and there's some from other counties. It's a great rec league. There's some we've got a few on my team in particular we got one or two from Jefferson. We got one from Winchester. So they'll come from other areas just to play in this Berkeley County volleyball league.
We have Phil McCoy joining us. He'll be doing public address for tonight's match between Musselman and Hedgesville, girls volleyball that takes place out at Musselman High School. When you look at Martinsburg High football, and then you look at Musselman girls volleyball and how they have really dominated over the last decade to decade plus, and then you look at the other teams in our area that are rising their play and their game as well. How much does that help those younger levels that you were talking to us about, as far as the excitement and the interest for what it brings as these younger girls go, man, I can't wait to play for my high school?
Oh, that's a great question. And when you're 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11 years old, and you're coming to some of these games and you see how good these girls are, and you hear about, all these schools have girls in college. They're playing on the next level. And you hear about that, and you watch them, and you see the crowds. And that's what I was telling you when I was in there Monday morning when I had the role of financial field I was playing. The crowds that these games bring they're shocking. To me, when I first came, the first games I came to, and this was when my daughter was just getting into the program and she wanted to go, and I brought her, and I was like, my goodness, they really bring the crowds and the excitement. Volleyball's a fun game, and it's an athletic game, but and I think that feeds the younger generation to want to come up and they want to keep playing because they're looking up to these girls. And by and large, and I'll throw this out here, especially from Musselman, I'm closer to that program because of my daughter. My daughter's playing that program in the PA announcer for them. But if you look at their GPAs, they're not just doing it on the court; they're doing it in the classroom as well.
Who are some of the key contributors to this year's Lady Appleman volleyball team?
Well, when you look at Musselman, you've definitely got, it starts with Jaden Gray. And, the power that she has on the outside is from another level. And when she's hot, it's definitely tough to stop them. But along there, though, you've also got, you're talking about, and I'm talking in terms of volleyball, but you got a little bit libero. Those are the kids that need to pass. And Musselman has 6 seniors that have played together forever. And a lot of them played in this rec league. They all started in the rec league we were talking about as well. But, yeah, Sarah Beth Edwards back there passing. Got a newcomer with Madigan Faircloth, who's a freshman who has stepped in and played great. And in the middle, you have Sadie Wright and Kaylee Petrie. And they're 2 different players playing in the middle. You got tall and slim Sadie that can just tower over anyone, but you got a super athletic Kaylee Petrie who can just jump through the roof. And at opposites, you've got Danica Faircloth, who was most definitely last year. She just jumped off the page last year, and she continues to grow. And Sarah Wright, who's been doing it forever. So you got a core of about 8, 9, 10 players that really get it done and they're 2 setters. who, setters, I'm a big fan of setters. And setters to me, they're the quarterback of the offense. And you only notice them when there's a bad set. But those girls put the ball where it needs to be almost every single time. And, so for Musselman, they've got these Super 6 seniors that they have won 2 consecutive state championships, been to 3, and now they're working on going to their 4th win and the 3rd in a row. So Musselman's definitely stacked, but there's kids coming in right behind them. And the same thing with Hedgesville. This is a group with Hedgesville that they've been there for quite some time. You got Peyton Ruiz back playing libero for them. Of course, Pastor's one of your main spots. And you have a couple of sisters with Yates sisters, Skylar and Mackenzie Yates, and Erica Link, who's their setter, and she's amazing with where she can place the ball. But Jenna Oakley, Kayla Kinsey, they've all been there, done that, and they're experienced. And I can tell you, if there's any team that can walk into Musselman and not be afraid of playing them, it's Hedgesville. They're not intimidated.
With that said, Phil, we've got about a minute, maybe a minute and a half left. How do you see this one playing out tonight? Is this going 5 sets?
Well, I'm going to get in a little bit of trouble for saying this because I got a lot of friends, and especially Coach Van Dyne. She's a friend of mine and been around for quite some time. But Musselman, in my opinion, is just too powerful to win it in 3. But it's going to be a competitive 3. Trust me, it will be competitive 3. Hey, last year, both matches at the end of the season, Hedgesville went up 2-0, and Musselman had to come back and win 3 in a row. So anything can happen. If they're on, Hedgesville can definitely hang with them. But tonight, I see them in 3.
What time you start tonight?
7:15. But you can come out before that. You got some good JV and freshman games going on as well. So it's a good atmosphere here. Come on out.
There you go. Head to Klein Court and check out some great volleyball action tonight. Musselman hosting Hedgesville. Phil McCoy, thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Point Musselman.
All right, take care. There you go. That is Phil McCoy from the Mirius Group and Ameriprise Financial Advisors, John Everson and Phil McCoy. By the way, they're a sponsor of this portion of the program. You can call Ameriprise Financial Services at 304-263-4343 or stop by their offices. They're located at 1270 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. Tomorrow, we'll look to find out how this match played out and be able to talk with at least one, maybe both of the coaches. Also tomorrow becomes, for us, Matt, a day early, the high school football preview.
It's always a fun show. You got a chance to, or we both did for a couple of them, but you would have finished up. I went down to Shepherd this afternoon to talk the college level, but we talked to all the high school coaches today, and tomorrow's our jam-packed high school football preview with Hedgesville having to play on Thursday at 1 o'clock this week down in Kingwood, West Virginia at Preston High School. Means everything's getting pushed up a day.
You say down in, I think it might be up in, as we'll be kind of going into the mountains before you get into Morgantown. So it'll be your first fun trip, your first trip to head to that neck of West Virginia.
I've been out that way. Not necessarily in Kingwood, but I've been out to Fairmont and Morgantown and at least over that way.
Well, we will look forward to it, and that kickoff is at 1 o'clock, so we will not have Miller time on Thursday just because of our travels, as we will still be making our way back to the Eastern Panhandle, but then we'll be back with Miller time on Friday from 5 to 6, leading to the pregame show at 6 and the kickoff at 7 for Martinsburg Bulldogs football. And again, you can catch both games Thursday and Friday. Hedgesville on Thursday, Martinsburg, Washington on Friday, not only on Talk Radio WRNR, but also you can catch us on TV 10 on your cable system in Berkeley and Jefferson counties. We do need to get in a break, already 20 minutes after the hour. When we come back, and we'll find out where we're going next on Miller Time.
We have a diamond pendant for $1,000, and for 4 days, it's only $500. I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. For 4 days only, half of the jewelry in our store is half price. Yes, 50% off for 4 days only. Wednesday, the 26th through Saturday, the 29th. I have have a diamond band here. Normally, let's see, $795. And for 4 days, it's $397. I have jewelry everywhere. Half of all of our jewelry at half price for 4 whole days. Dave and I went on sort of a crazy binge. We said, let's give our customers a mind-blowing half off. But on what? Well, we said let's do half of our entire inventory for half price. Crazy? Yes. Take advantage of our crazy. 4 days only, half off, half the store at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
I'm Cole Wright with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Steelers getting their first win of the season Monday night, holding off a second-half comeback from Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fitzmagic with 3 interceptions. The last one, a pick 6 that put Pittsburgh up 2 scores. The Steelers, they would not lose the lead, getting the win 30-27. Meanwhile, 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo will miss the remainder of the 2018 season after an MRI on Monday confirming he did tear his ACL during Sunday's loss to Kansas City. C.J. Beathard now getting the nod under center for San Francisco. Baker Mayfield getting the nod in Cleveland. Hugh Jackson making it official after Monday's practice. The first overall pick leading the Browns to their first win in 635 days last Thursday night against the New York Jets. And Josh Rosen getting his shot as well. Cardinals head coach Steve Wilks going with the former Bruin for Sunday's game versus those Seattle Seahawks. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/turns for more information.
Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%. Parsons' goal of financing for all. And Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars, too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
West Virginia High School football. Back to throw. Grant Harmon deep along the near side as a wide open receiver. Cello Tenable at the goal line makes the catch. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. They went back to Grant Harmon at quarterback. He quickly took the snap, looked to the near side, and Tenable was well behind the defenseman. The Martinsburg Bulldogs are in Charlestown to face the Washington Patriots this Friday night with the kickoff at 7, our pregame at 6, Miller Time at 5 p.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports. We welcome you back into Miller Time for a Tuesday evening. This portion of the program brought to you by the Washington Nationals for at least one more day. Thank you, Nats fans. It's Fan Appreciation Week at Nationals Park as the final home games against the Marlins take place tonight. And then tomorrow at 4:05, you could win some great prizes as the Nationals say thanks to the best fans in baseball. Get your tickets online at nationals.com again tonight and tomorrow. And then the Nationals hit the road to close out the season in Colorado. I wonder about this schedule. Why in Sam Hill you've got an Eastern time zone team going to play just 3 games? It's not a lengthy road trip. You're at home right now, and you're going to have a getaway day on a Wednesday and not play on Thursday. so that you can be in Colorado to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then pack all your gear back in the plane and come home because for the Nationals, season's over.
Schedules and timing bother you more than any man on the face of the planet. Okay. Yeah. I guess if you were a playoff team and you were trying to make sure you had enough rest and your time zones were all in sync or whatever, that maybe that'd be an issue. Okay. They're going to play a 3-game series to close the series out in Colorado. I don't know what the big issue is.
It will have playoff implications because Colorado right now is battling the Dodgers for the top spot in the West.
Yeah, but they're gonna. Who's in the second wild? Or they're that.
Right now.
Who's in the second wild card spot in?
I am glad you asked. Let me bring it
Good. I'm glad that you're glad that I'm glad.
Because we haven't talked a lot of baseball, so I wanted to do a little research and say, hey, we got to get into this just slightly. So we'll do it right now. The National League is still really wide open as far as playoff spots. The American League is all but set. In the AL East, Red Sox have already clinched it. Yankees, they're going to the playoffs as the top wild card.
The Yankees are going as a wild card with like 95 wins.
That's crazy. Then the Indians win the Central. Closest team behind them, the Twins, 15.5 back. Not even a race there. And the Astros and surprising Oakland A's, who had an incredible second half to the season after the All-Star break, 4.5 games back in that West race. The A's are just a game and a half back of the Yankees as those two battle to see who might get that home field advantage come wild card time. But that's it. Your teams are basically set. Red Sox, Yankees, Indians, Astros, A's.
How rough would that be for the Yankees if they lost that wild card game? Any other division in baseball, they would have won the division and gotten a series.
Mm-hmm.
But because the Red Sox were historically good this year, they set a record for 106 wins. That's the most in franchise history for a single season. That'd be rough to be a Yankee and go, any other division in baseball, we win the division, we're guaranteed a series, and for one night, the A's were better than us.
And the A's have been a hot team.
Yeah.
So it could certainly happen.
I do like the single wild card game, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I don't know that I'm a fan of that. The whole idea.
I think it adds suspense to, again, I love the game of baseball, but I think it adds a level of suspense to the game that you don't get anywhere else.
It's a Game 7. So
yeah, which
speak,
everybody,
right?
you talk to anybody in sports, what's the most exciting game in professional sports? Game 7.
Yep.
So make the wild card game a Game 7.
All right, let's switch over to the National League, where the Braves win the East, and that's the only one wrapped up to this point. The Cubs have a game-and-a-half lead over the Brewers. The Cardinals are 4.5 back. They're not going to win the division.
The Brewers just won't go away.
Right. But the Cards are right now the second wild card team behind the Brewers. So you could have 3 Central Division teams making it to the postseason.
And again, the Cardinals just don't. When it comes to the playoff time, you can't talk about the playoffs or that. The Cardinals just pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
You would have never thought the Cardinals would have been a playoff team this year.
Not the way they started.
And then at the end of the year, it's okay. Well, the Cardinals are back in the running.
Out west, the Dodgers have a game-and-a-half lead over the Rockies. So if the Nationals are going to be headed out that direction, they could have a say in who makes the playoffs. Right now, when you look at the wild card, the Brewers have the edge over the Cardinals by 3 games for the top wild card spot, and then the Cardinals have a half a game lead over the Rockies right now for that final wild card spot. So you've got a whole slew of teams that potentially could end up joining the Braves. Oh, by the way, the Nationals are 79-78 after a win over Miami last night by a final score of 7-3. Bryce Harper reached the 100 RBI category or milestone for the first time in his career.
The 4th time in his career.
I could have swore I read earlier. I'm going, yeah, that can't be right. But I know I saw an article earlier.
I got the ESPN alert last night when we were sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings. I swore it said for the 4th time.
So let's look it up and find out.
I'm doing it.
Also, we got an email as an affiliate of the Washington Nationals to let us know that they have handed out awards. Well, at least the sports writers in D.C. have. And coming up after our break at the bottom of the hour, we'll see if we are in agreement as to who the award winners are for a team that, frankly, has underachieved. That's next as we continue with more Miller Time. It's 5:30. All right, let's stick around for just a moment as I have a computer issue in the computer behind me, and so that means we'll stay here for just a moment longer as we jump into some local talk radio WRNR news. Then we'll get into that weather forecast with Bob Kukin. Our NBC Sports Radio update will come your way as well. Let's go to news now.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. A Charlestown company will repave Martinsburg streets, a job which will cost more than $480,000. That word from the Martinsburg City Council Monday. Most of that amount will go towards the cost of materials. Jefferson Asphalt Products should have that job completed by year's end. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, along with 10 other state attorneys general, says the Drug Enforcement Agency's opioid manufacturing quotas for next year are unnecessarily higher than the need for those drugs. Those quotas had recently been reduced by 10%. He's charged with drug possession and conspiracy. The Herald Mail reporting that late last week, police seized marijuana, cash, and packaging items at 32-year-old Roberto Pastora of Martinsburg's home. The authorities saying Pastora told them he got the weed in Washington, D.C., and all of it was for him and him alone. And Main Street Martinsburg is hosting the annual chili cook-off this Saturday from 2 till 5 in the town square downtown. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
With your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Temperatures holding pretty stable in the lower 70s range through the evening and only dropping a few degrees into the upper 60s for the late night. A lot of cloud cover, but it should be fairly dry for a while. Into the daytime Wednesday, variable clouds in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, bringing showers and maybe a few thunder showers too. Could be a couple of strong storms and a high near 82. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
Remember that last trip to the auto mechanic?
I also think your solenoid gasket is bad.
What?
Yep, that'll be another $500.
Forget that and go to D&N Auto Specialist at 230 Tavern Road, Martinsburg, where honesty is their best policy. Serving the Eastern Panhandle since 1974, D&N Auto is family-owned and operated, specializing in exhaust alignments and tires. From general maintenance to major overhauls, they'll treat you right. Call D&N Auto Specialist at 304-267-4078.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Injuries mounting in the NFL. Rams corner Aqib Talib going to miss about a month with a high ankle sprain. Bruce Ellington for the Texans put on the IR. Same goes for Patrick Robinson of the Saints. And the Bucs have placed starting safety Chris Conte on the IR, has a knee injury. Everson Griffin dealing with personal issues, officially ruled out for Week 4. That's a Thursday night football game. In total, 14 games will actually be played because one postponed. Orioles and Red Sox, now a Wednesday doubleheader. What do you got tonight? Yankees and Rays. Luis Severino looking for win number 19 on the season. That'll be first pitch a little bit after 7 o'clock Eastern. And Trevor Bauer on the bump for the Indians at 8 o'clock at the White Sox. He looks for win number 13 on the year. Mets officially activate third baseman David Wright. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
Howdy, cowpokes. Do your business cards look like they were designed by a code roper? Well, this cowboy knows the advantage of dealing with folks the old-fashioned way. When you order printed material on the internet, you're stuck with what you get. But But when you need printed material to look just right, you want to deal with folks you know. And that's what you'll find at Panhandle Printing and Design. Local folks that have been delivering results for years. They can help with everything from design to production of stationery envelopes, business cards, invitations, vinyl signs, banners, vehicle wraps, and a lot more. They can answer all your printing questions, and you can call them on the phone or hop on your horse and go see them, because they're your one-stop printing shop where they have something for everyone. Panhandle Printing and Design at 124 North Maple Avenue in Martinsburg. Call 304-267-7400. You can even find them online, too, if you want to. If you need printed materials, don't deal with some city slicker you'll never meet. Trust the folks at Panhandle Printing and Design.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time on a Tuesday evening. Matt Miller along with Matt Crawford. Talking baseball as we went into the break. We said we would announce the postseason award winners as chosen by DC Media for the Washington Nationals, and we will do that in just a moment.
The DC Media chooses that? I thought you said the Nationals chose there.
Okay, this is what it says. Nationals announced 2018 awards is the headline, but then when you read the first line, it says the Washington Nationals announced the winners of the third annual end-of-season awards as voted on by the local media.
We didn't get asked.
So I guess the Nationals have asked the local media in the D.C. market if they would.
Regional media.
I guess that means we're not local. We're regional.
I'm a little offended.
Well, don't be offended.
We cover them. We've been talking bad about them for 2 months now.
Hey, we got down there early on to see some of the new things around the ballpark and report on those here on Miller Time. You got the press pass, the only one granted to the radio station to go to the All-Star game.
I feel like you're still a little upset about that.
No, not at all. Nah. I'm glad you had a good time. It was a special event. Who would have thought at that moment in time, who would have thought when the Nationals were awarded an opportunity to host the All-Star game that would end up being the highlight? Because you were thinking the Nationals with back-to-back 90-plus win seasons, and going into this season, a team that many were saying, this is a team that could win it all, to now come to the end of the season and go, hey, the big highlight was that All-Star game.
I mean, is that really considered the big highlight? I mean, it's not like it's not like
a pretty amazing event.
No, it is a phenomenal event, but I don't know. I guess, do you still hear people talking about, hey, remember the All-Star game, or remember this about the All-Star game?
Bryce Harper winning the home run derby and the way that all played out?
So I guess, the All-Star festivities, not necessarily the All-Star game.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'll give you that.
Bryce Harper winning the home run derby at Nats Park will always, that's going to go down as one of those moments in baseball.
One of those what? Moments in baseball history.
Yeah.
It's that time. Not yesterday, not today, but tomorrow's date in sports history.
I thought you were about to judge me for saying that was going to be one of those moments in baseball.
No, it's just was a great segue into this particular segment. Let's take a look at a handful of events that took place tomorrow, the 26th of September in sports history. Let's go back to 1906. Pittsburgh's lefty Lee Field no-hits the Phillies 8-0 in a 6-inning game. Must have been shortened due to rain.
Why is there never a righty?
I don't know. I guess that would be too common a name, right? There were fewer left-handed pitchers in the day, so to be a lefty, you got that nickname. But everyone could be a righty, right?
Yes.
All right, how about 1925, the 8th PGA Championship? Just the very beginning stages. Walter Hagen wins at Olympia Fields in Illinois. 1948, the Boston Braves win their first NL championship since 1914. That was a drought. Not quite like what you experienced as a Cubbies fan, but that was a drought.
They don't know what a drought is.
All right, let's go to September 26, 1959. San Francisco Giants' Sam Jones has his second no-hitter, beating the St. Louis Cardinals by a 4-0 score. We heard the name Roger Maris yesterday on Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave as they were talking about big seasons. In fact, it may have even been this morning, if my memory now gets jogged correctly, as they talked about Maris's big season. Well, it was on tomorrow's date, 1961. Roger Maris hits home run number 60, and that tied Babe Ruth's record. And, of course, he went on to hit one more, finished with 61. All right, let's go on to 1973. Wilt Chamberlain signs with the ABA's team in San Diego known as the Conquistadors.
It's a fun name.
I was going to say, I like that.
Wilt was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, right? How about 1984? You think Major League Baseball and other sports have had some attendance issues this year? 1984, 5,251 fans turn out to see the Phillies play the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. How many times have we had one of those in the last week? Yeah.
And the majority of them have been at Shea Stadium.
Yeah, it's been a lot of unhappy Mets fans not showing up to try to root on their team, or I guess there was nothing to root on. All right, let's close it out with tomorrow's date, 1997. Seattle Mariner Ken Griffey Jr. hits his 56th home run of that season.
The kid.
Yeah, one of the sweetest swings ever.
I think I think the nicest swing in baseball.
It always amazed me how well he could hit, how hard, how far, because it looked effortless. You know, I mean, his swing was just so fluid, so sweet, but the ball would literally jump off the bat.
Who do you think had a better swing than Ken Griffey Jr.? Because if somebody were to ask me who my favorite swing ever was, it would be him.
Yeah.
Because of what because just the fluidness of his swing and just the power he had in making it look so effortless.
I would say the power is probably, and the fact that, like you said, it looks so effortless is what sets his apart. But obviously, Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn come to my mind as guys who had that equally sweet kind of swing. But those guys were a little more of your, singles, doubles hitters, putting the ball in play, hitting for high average. Not that Griffey didn't hit for a pretty good average.
That swing did everything.
Yes. So, but those were a couple of pretty nice ones as well. All right, before we move on, let's jump back into our baseball conversation. As we read just a moment ago, local media in D.C. voting for Nationals Award winners. Are you ready? The 2018 Nationals Player of the Year. Hang on just a second. If I get in here properly, I think I do have the drum roll. Oh, yeah, here we are. And the answer is?
Anthony Rendon or Max Scherzer.
Bryce Harper.
The Player of the Year? You're kidding me, right?
No, that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up.
You've got to be kidding me.
I figured I'd get a little bit of a reaction out of you.
The Player of the Year
on the
is
Nationals.
not Bryce Harper. He's not even in the top 5.
Hold on. Entering play today, Harper has clubbed 34 home runs, recorded a career-high 100 runs batted in. So there it is. It is actually his first year with the 100 RBIs, according to this. Has set a Nationals record with 126 base on balls. Has ranked in the National League in home runs, tied for second. On base percentage, 6th. Runs scored, tied for 6th. The same for runs batted in. 11th in extra base hits and 11th in on base, OPS. So those are the numbers
wrong
that are laid out there. I'm just telling you. I'm with you.
Max Scherzer or Anthony Rendon.
Well, I don't think you're going to give it to a pitcher because
they only play.
Well, the very next category is the pitcher of the year. So I think when they're talking about the player of the year, they're looking at that as an everyday player.
I'm still giving it to Juan Soto or Anthony Rendon.
I was going to say Juan Soto could certainly be in there, and it doesn't look like they lay out a rookie of the year, which is a little surprising to me because they really only list 3 awards.
Bryce Harper is not the best player, was not the best player on that Nationals team this year. That's ridiculous. That's a popularity contest, not an MVP contest.
Give him a little credit. He has at least finished strong after...
Well, he couldn't finish much worse than he started.
Well, there you go. After absolutely laboring.
That's ridiculous.
All right, so pitcher of the year goes to
Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really gonna blow my lid if you said somebody else.
No. I just wanted to give you that impression. Now, Max enters tonight's start as he apparently is taking the bump tonight for the Nationals. 17 wins and 7 losses and a 2.57 ERA. Frankly, he should have about 21 wins.
Yeah.
When you look at some of those games that he lost. He leads Major League Baseball with a career-high in Nationals record of 290 strikeouts. In addition, he leads NL pitchers in strikeouts per 9 innings at 12.22. Hits per 9 innings at only 6.12. His whip is .92. Strikeout to walk ratio 5.69. And then the opponent's batting average against just 188.
Do you think he'll win the NL?
Good.
Do you think he'll win the NL Cy Young this year again?
Probably.
That's great. With those numbers, you can't. That's hard to have him not win.
No, I mean, I guess it depends on what the voters who vote for that look at. I mean, Jacob deGrom has an awfully good ERA and some other good numbers as well.
I think that's the only person that you could even argue with is Jacob deGrom.
His ERA is better, actually, than what Max Scherzer's is. But obviously, the Mets don't score, especially when he's on the mound, so his record is not good. But his other numbers are. So I guess it depends on how the writers that vote for that look at it. But that would be unprecedented. 3 straight Cy Youngs?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be incredible. All right, finally, the last award that was given is called the Good Guy Award, given to a player who is exceptionally accommodating to the media and involved in the community.
All right, hold on here. I'm trying to think of... Is it like a starting player, or is it somebody...
Starting as in position player, or?
Oh, yeah, I guess it could be.
Because you've got position players, but you got pitchers that you could have in this mix as well as the.
All right, is it a position player or a pitcher?
It is a pitcher.
It's a pitcher.
A pitcher getting the Good Guy Award for the Nationals as given by the DC media.
Is it Doolittle?
You are correct. It is Sean Doolittle. He does have that personality.
He was really nice to talk to at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So that's what gave it away was when you said he was good with the media. I know when I had the chance to go to the All-Star game and talk to guys in the club, he was very accommodating to the media. A lot more accommodating than Max Scherzer was.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got a pretty decent interview with Scherzer.
I did. But it was some of the guys that Bryce Harper didn't even go out for the media.
Right.
So to me that was just like, okay, dude, really? Come on. But there were some guys that you could tell didn't mind talking to the media and were okay with the media, and some guys you could just tell it was, really, do I have to do this? And then you have guys like Bryce Harper who say, I'm not doing this, and not coming out.
Well, this is what it says in the paragraph on the Nationals release. Doolittle supplanted Ryan Zimmerman, the winner of the Good Guy Award in both 2016 and 17. He earned the award for his, quote, always professional dealings with members of the media and for representing the Nationals organization with class both on and off the field. I tell you, his injury was a huge hit to the Nationals. He went out right before the All-Star break, and we thought, okay, 10 days.
He was on the 10-day deal.
Yeah.
And his interview at the All-Star game was, I'm glad it's at home because that gives me a chance to keep my rehab going and get back on the field quicker.
And then we didn't see him.
3 months later, crickets.
3-3 with a 1.62 ERA and 25 saves as they go into play today.
Well, you were a popular guy over there.
Let's see, what do I got? DeGrom or Nola will win the Cy Young according to Tommy. It's not going to be Scherzer. I'd have to look up Nola's numbers, because I really don't know a whole lot about him. I know just a little bit about the numbers of DeGrom, especially as far as his ERA, but I don't know about the others. So we'll wait and see. This is the fun, finding out who is going to get some of those postseason awards. These, again, just for the Nationals, but you've got your MVPs, your Cy Youngs, your Rookie of... Soto has to be the Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Since Rhys Hoskins can't win it, There's nobody else.
Well, there's a pretty good rookie for the Atlanta Braves who did go on to win the division. I'm trying to think of the name off the top of my head because we hadn't necessarily planned all of this baseball conversation, so I'm not on top of the Braves, not necessarily following them on a regular basis. But anyway, Soto...
Yeah, I would find it hard to go against Juan Soto for Rookie of the Year.
He's certainly in the conversation if he does not win it. So, all right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and get in our final break of this portion of Miller Time. We're going till about 6:15. Matt will be with you till 6:30. It's Tuesday. Got to make my way to Shepherd University. That means we got to switch places here in just a little bit. He threw me in the hot seat tonight. One of the first times since all the TV stuff and everything to be responsible.
There's a lot going on, isn't it?
And that's what he's trying to do. And I said it's the hot seat because he wanted to see, was I going to fry? I haven't fried yet. My brain has gotten fried. My emotions have gotten fried maybe once or twice when computers are not doing what they're supposed to. But nonetheless, we persevere with more Miller Time. Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics insurance companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics insurance companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
Hi, my name is Ed Floyd, representing the Central Church of Christ located at 90 Waverly Court in Martinsburg, and I have a special invitation for you. Alan Webster, author of Heart to Heart and House to House, the special bulletin published by the Jacksonville, Alabama Church of Christ, for which Mr. Webster preaches, is our special speaker. He is well qualified and ready to preach the truth from God's Word. If you enjoyed reading Heart to Heart and House to House, which was mailed to some of you for the past 5 years, you will respect his teaching, and God's Word will have its way into your heart. Our meeting is October 7 through 11 at 7 p.m., Monday through Thursday. Sunday morning Bible study will be at 9:45, worship at 10:45, and our evening service will be at 6 p.m. Some of his topics are 4,000 years in 40 minutes, God's plan for saving man, marriage, and the family. Will you please come and be our special guest for all of these services? Thank you.
You need to keep your vehicle in good working order, but car and truck repairs can be very costly. Bears Repair in Martinsburg performs all kinds of auto repairs at prices most often well below their competition. Bears Repair offers tune-ups, oil change and lubrication, small and large engine and transmission repair, wheel balancing, front-end alignment, exhaust system replacement, air conditioning checks, auto inspections, and new tires. Stop by for a free estimate at Bears Repair, 904 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. Phone 262-0208. Bears Repair. And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this rainy Tuesday evening. Will we ever see the sunshine again?
It's supposed to be sunny for the Shepherd game on Saturday.
Nice.
So we won't be sitting in the rain to watch homecoming, watch Shepherd take on Concord.
Yeah, talk about a team that has fallen apart, if you will, in the Mountain East Conference. Yes.
It's amazing how quick. You look at 2014, the fall of 2014, when they went to the national semifinals.
Lost to Minnesota Mankato, I believe it was, up there.
And have won, 8 games total since then?
I was going to say, it certainly has
They
not
haven't
been
gotten double-digit
much.
wins since then.
No.
It's amazing how quickly, their head coach left after that season, correct?
I believe
if it was the season.
The next, right.
Yeah.
I think it may have been the next season
and
after
took a bunch
that,
of the coaching
but-
staff with him, but, it was a quick descent.
Yep, absolutely quick. And then there was that momentary rise of University of Charleston. They made the playoffs in Division II 1 year.
And then there's been the couple years of Fairmont State.
Fairmont made it into the postseason.
Notre Dame the last 2 years.
Notre Dame is yet to get into the postseason.
They should have last year, I think.
I think there was certainly an argument for it. But with that strong Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, which, by the way, is going to be a Shepherd Rams team joining that Conference coming up to make it even stronger and make the Mountain East Conference a little bit weaker. All right, a lot weaker.
At least for football.
I was just trying to say it gently.
At least for football.
I couldn't say it as gently as I wanted to. But you're right, and you know, the league has to know it too.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, while there are those who have expressed, if you go to like d2football.com, read any of those message boards, or you go to wvtailgatecentral.com, read some of those message boards, when someone puts up the aspect of the Rams making that transition to the PSAC, there are a lot of those who, as fans of teams in the Mountain East Conference, are all over Shepherd. Good riddance, go on, blah, blah, blah. You always think you're better than everybody else and so forth and so on. But behind all of those things, there has to be a realization this hurts.
Yeah. And I think that's why. I think people that are fans of the Mountain East Conference as a whole look at Shepherd leaving and go, wow, okay, this is really impacting the conference as a whole and bringing revenue and bringing exposure to the Mountain East Conference, which really isn't that old. The conference isn't old yet at all. It's not an established conference anywhere.
This is its 6th year.
Yeah. And Shepherd, when it came to the money-making sports, when it came to football, basketball, and baseball, they ruled the roost. I guess in basketball they didn't rule the roost, but they were there.
Yeah, the men's and women's teams have had some moments.
They were consistently in that upper tier. Obviously, when it came to men's basketball, and you have West Liberty and Wheeling Jesuit and Fairmont State, that's tough. But even Shepherd last year got a win over Fairmont State?
No, I think it was Wheeling Jesuit. It was the team that they beat.
Yeah, but Shepherd's men and women's basketball, maybe not every single year, but they were in that top tier, in the top 1, 2, or 3. Shepherd's women's team in 2014 and 15, the 2014-15 season, made the NCAA playoffs.
Yep.
And the men's team was always in that top 4 or 5. And for baseball, consistently the last couple years, they've been winning the Mountain East and going into the playoffs. And
into the regional.
Yeah, in football, it's national championships and national semifinals. And so you look at the money-making sports in the Mountain East Conference, you're losing a big name.
Yes. Which is going to make it that much more difficult to get more than one team out of the conference into the postseason. And if you're a Shepherd fan right now, you know, you're kind of looking at all of the scores in the league. If you missed it, Fairmont State got beat by Charleston last week. So you now have Fairmont State with a loss joining Shepherd. But that means you still have Charleston and Notre Dame without a loss in the football standings. So, you know, Shepherd still has to play both of those teams. But they've probably also got to hope that those teams kind of beat each other when they come head-to-head as well, to see who's going to end up being the conference champion and whether 2 teams out of this Mountain East Conference get to the playoffs again. It's happened, 2 of the last 3 years. It didn't happen last year, but it did 2 years prior when you had Shepherd and Charleston and then Shepherd and Fairmont. Then last year, only Shepherd. And now this year, you got to hope that Shepherd has a chance to be one of those teams if they can continue to win and play well after stumbling in that first game.
Do you think if Shepherd doesn't finish the regular season in first place in the Mountain East Conference, that the region selects 2 teams for the Mountain East just because of the name Shepherd not getting an automatic bid?
I think if Notre Dame were to win out and be 11-0, and Shepherd would be right behind them at 9-1, the Rams win out. Their only loss is now against the undefeated team that wins the conference, and a team that's probably going to be pretty highly ranked in those regional rankings with an 11-0 mark. I would say yes, definitely. If Notre Dame suffers a loss and you end up with a couple of teams up at the top of the Mountain East Conference with 1 loss, and Shepherd is one of those, I would imagine that Shepherd would get in and the other team would get in as well. I really think if this plays out the way that it has the potential to, that there will be 2 teams from the Mountain East Conference that get in. And, of course, if Shepherd continues to win, then they're going to be one of those teams.
And it's going to be rough if Charleston keeps winning.
Right.
Because Charleston's playing good football right now.
That they are. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Need to take a break for news and weather. We'll be back with more Miller Time in just a moment. This is Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. Monday morning, the state Supreme Court heard arguments from two attorneys challenging both U.S. Representative Evan Jenkins and former House of Delegates Speaker Tim Armstead's qualifications to serve on the court. That afternoon, those petitions were dismissed, clearing the way for Jenkins and Armstead to become replacement justices. A month ago, Governor Jim Justice appointed them to fill vacant seats. The Journal reports the lawyers who filed those petitions had themselves made moves to get on the court. He wanted to be at home between now and his sentencing for soliciting a minor, but instead he'll be staying where he is now, the Eastern Regional Jail. 29-year-old Joel Zeiler, who used to be a teacher at Jefferson High School, could get as few as 4 or as many as 20 years behind bars. Darrell Scholl, West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner's Eastern Panhandle field rep, will become a magistrate in Berkeley County next month. He'll replace Betty Jo Hirsch, who last week resigned in order to take a position at an area high school. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Drier weather through the nighttime overall, although clouds will linger. We'll see lows only back to about 68 at sunrise. Light breeze out of the south, keeping the temperatures up. And it's a warm Wednesday ahead. A lot of cloud cover, but maybe a glimpse at the sun early. Scattered showers and thunderstorms more likely in the afternoon. Maybe a couple of strong ones, too. Look for a high all the way up to 82. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
Let's face it, sometimes local is just better. Locally grown, locally sourced, shop local, eat local. But what about local expertise? At Allstate, Gary Kelly is just that, a local. So contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today so he can help you with protection that's right for you and the things you love most. Call 304-263-4596. Allstate, are you in good hands? Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Assurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company.
We're here at the Trane Heating and Air Conditioning Testing Facility to see how unstoppable their products really are.
Inside this climate chamber, it's raining incredibly hard on this Trane AC unit. Clearly, it's hard to stop a train.
McRae has served our area for over 80 years. Special financing and rebates up to $1,000 are available now. Go to McRaeWay.com to learn more. McRae and Trane. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard.
Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Keep it tuned for the NFL and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's back, and he's running. AB to the 20, 15-10, touchdown, Antonio Brown. Two defenders were converging. One of them, Philip Gaines, got a piece of the ball. It hit right into his hands, and he said, see you later.
Follow the Steelers in their quest to be the top team in the AFC North all season long right here on Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports.
With his 353 and 3 touchdowns, and Vance McDonald with a stiff arm heard round the world and 112 yards receiving, they are deadlocked at 27%. Nobody voting for anyone else. So Calling Shots NBC on Twitter is where you can hit us up. So here's something. Could there be some issues in Los Angeles? I have said I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL, and I think the Rams, I know that
And we welcome you back into Miller Time. Took a little detour there for just a brief moment.
Just a slight one.
It's that transition that we made here on this Tuesday evening.
You didn't have to go teach. This wouldn't be an issue.
Sorry. There are youth who need educated.
And you teach a fun class, I'll give you that.
There are youths who need education.
How was your class this year?
And I can't believe that they
trust you with the future of America?
Yeah.
How was your class this year? Is it going good?
Yeah, I think so. Got a really good group of students, about 15 in all, and we're having fun so far. At least I am. I hope they are. They seem to be. You know, I mean, they may just be pacifying an old man in front of the class and then walking out going, why am I taking this?
Is anybody actually coming to class next week?
No, that's been the good part. Most of them have attended on a regular basis.
That's really the key to that class.
It is.
All you can do is show up and you pretty much get an A.
That's it. That's what I tell them at the beginning of the year. This is an intro class. Come to class, participate, and you shall do well. Stay away from class, refuse to participate, not so good.
It's amazing how easy that is. And you fail, what, 1 or 2 people every year?
No, not usually. I'm not sure I've ever failed anyone completely, but your grade will definitely be affected.
All right. What kind of grades did you give your Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night? Let's do overall game, then each half. Because
the first half's an F.
I'm thinking
the second half is a
It's a
B
B or an A,
plus,
yeah,
and so I might go a C minus overall. I'll tell you what my take was. We watched the first half together, and then as I got home, kind of got situated, some things I needed to do around the house, the dogs and pig and other things, and then made my... Wait, what?
Dogs and pigs and other things?
Well, just a pig, just dogs and pig. We have 2 dogs, a basset and a lab, and now we have a potbelly pig, who is the third member of the pet family.
Doesn't everybody?
So the pig thinks it's a dog. It eats dog biscuits and even bacon-flavored treats. Bacon-flavored. I have not given the pig actual bacon or pork, but the one set of treats for the dogs has the bacon flavor, and the pig goes crazy. It's like, whoa, I want some of that. But that's what bacon does to everyone. Because I smell bacon, and I'm like, I want some of that. But I'm not trying those dog treats, no matter how good the bacon smells. Anyway, back to where I was. I then, as I was going to bed, pulled it up on my phone and saw where the Bucs had settled for a field goal and cut the halftime deficit of 30-10 down to 30-13. And they were in pretty good field position, and I thought, doggone it, this makes another time, because they did that in the first half where they settled for a field goal when they were in the red zone, and they had a turnover while they were in the red zone. So now here's another field goal. So you're looking at 3 golden scoring opportunities, and you've come out of there with 6 points. That's it. I was a little frustrated. Then I saw the score where they got to within 30-20, and I thought to myself as I shut off my phone and was going to bed for the night, I said, one of 2 things is going to happen. I'm either going to wake up tomorrow morning and they'll lose 30-27, or I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and they will have found a way to either tie it and send it to overtime, win or lose, or even get 2 touchdowns in the end and actually come up with a 33-30 victory. And I woke up and saw where they fell 3 short, losing 30-27. And my first thought was, I'm not happy they lost, but I'm okay because of how they played.
They fought back. They obviously they didn't deserve to win because of the first half.
I was going to say, eliminate 4 costly turnovers in that first half and play a full actual game of football.
Even eliminate all 4. Eliminate 2 of them, 1 of them, and you probably don't, because the Steelers scored. What was the stat at the end of the first half? The Steelers had 14 points off of turnovers.
Well, and one of them was direct because the Bucs were deep in their own territory, and the little dump pass intended for the back out of the backfield was thrown 14 feet over his head, and 5 yards down the field further, the defender caught it and went into the end zone for the Steelers. So 7 points.
That wasn't necessarily Fitzpatrick's fault. We watched the replay. He was hitting. His arm was stopped.
He was getting pressure. Yep, his arm got hit as he let go of it. So, and the one down in the red zone, he tried to force one, and the defender got the hands up, and it went off the hands, and then the helmet shot straight up into the air. I mean, that ball could have gone any other direction and been an incompletion. But as was, it's an INT. And then, of course, I don't know what happened to the defense when the tight end made the catch down the sideline and just knocked the defensive back's head around and then, bowled him over and went on in for the touchdown. There was nobody else out there. You had a 160-pound guy trying to bring down a 260-pound tight end, and that didn't work.
Yeah, I was going to say, 9 times out of 10, that's not a good combination.
No, especially the way he went at him. You know, I mean, you got to.
Well, I think his goal. I think whoever was in the Bucs secondary was just hoping that maybe the tight end was just going to be nudged out of bounds. Because
takes more than a nudge.
That's the only reason he could have possibly been coming at that angle, was to hope that.
And that height.
That force was going to just knock him off balance a little bit enough to either slow him down or knock him out of bounds.
And it was like, excuse me, is there a gnat over here? Now, I do question the NFL again. I have to. It's just what we do. But
you do more than anybody. But
I don't understand how certain rules work. I mean, it's a game where there were 4 roughing the quarterback penalties, 4 roughing the quarterback penalties. It was a penalty-filled game.
Is that like roughing the passer?
What did I say? Roughing the quarterback?
Quarterback.
Yeah, he's a passer, right? He's the general guy that throws the ball more than anybody else on the field. Is that okay to say roughing the quarterback? Or
I'm just getting the actual penalty is roughing the passer.
Well, you know what, though? But that's interesting. Okay, you just brought up a good point, because now my brain automatically goes, that's interesting. Let's say we run that end-around flea flicker type of pass. So now the quarterback gives a little pitch in the backfield, and now a running back into a wide receiver going the opposite direction has the ball in his hands. He's getting ready to throw the football. A defensive guy who read the play comes up and is drilling him as he throws the football, lands on top of him on the field. Do we still get the roughing the passer penalty? His whole body weight came down on the guy, but that's not the quarterback. He's a wideout, whatever. That's interesting. You just brought up a good point. Is that still going to get the roughing the passer penalty that the quarterbacks are getting if the guy that throws the football does not happen to be the quarterback?
It should be. If the penalty is roughing the passer, not roughing the quarterback, which it is, the exact penalty name is roughing the passer, then it should be. And I think that may be why they made it that rule for situations like
Calling
that.
it passer as opposed to quarterback.
So it should be.
Either way,
but most of the time when they run those trick plays, the guy throwing the ball isn't touched.
No, but it does bring up the idea, though. Okay, is anybody throwing the football going to get the same benefit of the doubt that quarterbacks are getting? Like I know you're not allowed to touch their helmet. But the one call against the Bucs when Roethlisberger has a hand just scrape the back of his head. His barber has touched his head harder than that.
No, that was legitimate contact to the helmet.
His teammates have smacked him in the head harder than that to congratulate him for a touchdown. And Ben went into soccer mode. Did you see that? Full-out soccer mode. His head dipped down, and he fell to his knees like, oh, my goodness, I just got karate chopped by Bruce Lee. Then they show the replay, and you go, are you kidding me? That's a roughing the, I know, because he touched his helmet. Anyway, I go back to the tight end, and I say he lays the palm of his hand, but very forcefully on the side of the helmet of that defender coming in to try to make the tackle. I know you can, stiff arm you can use. I understand it didn't necessarily hit the face mask. I mean, obviously it touched it just because of how the hand came in. But when you saw the replay, his helmet almost came off that defensive back. That hit to the head was so hard. And then that knocked him off balance to where he could just push him aside and go. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, as a Bucs fan, it was not fun to watch an opponent run over your guy like that. Yeah. As a football fan, it was fun because you go, oh, that's football right there. But at the same time, you go, no, wait a minute, though. How comes he's allowed to do that? But if that just happened on the offensive or defensive line back down the field, if an offensive lineman would have slapped a defensive lineman upside the head in that exact same way to keep him from getting to the quarterback, that play would have been nullified, and we'd have had illegal hands to the face, and they bring it back. Or if a defensive guy would have done that trying to get around an offensive guy, they would have had, hey, we've got illegal hands or unnecessary roughness. And, of course, the Steelers go, we decline that penalty and take the result of the play, which was the touchdown anyway. So nobody else on the field can do what the tight end just did, and yet he can do it. I don't understand.
I'm with you. I guess because, most stiff arms don't do that. Most people giving a stiff arm aren't as powerful as that. And you look at the tight end position now, you take away Gronk, and the tight ends aren't massive tight ends anymore for the most part. A lot of them are thicker receivers. So when you see Jordan Reed, the tight end for the Redskins, or Vernon Davis, tight end for the Redskins, give a stiff arm, it's usually a hand down. It's not going uphill into the side of somebody's helmet. Now, you see Rob Gronkowski do that, or you see tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers do that. They're men. Everybody in the NFL is a man-child, but those guys
are bigger men.
Yes, those guys are large human beings who can run a sub 540 and are extremely strong. So I don't know. I guess I get what you're saying, but at the same time, they're defending themselves with one hand as opposed to a defender coming in with an entire body weight worth of force and two hands trying to wrap up.
And like I'm saying, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, other than it was my team's guy that took the wrong end of that. But it's interesting to me how those rules things all lay out. So,
all right, well, let's hear from the victorious quarterback last night. And
as we do, I bid you adieu. And then I'll talk to you tomorrow with more Miller Time.
We'll see you tomorrow. So let's hear from Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger following the game last night, the victorious win for the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You know, we talk sometimes about beating your head against the wall, right, when they're throwing 8, 9 guys up in the box, and we had success throwing the ball. So at the end, we did run it. There were some times we had some big plays. James, busted a couple big runs there at the end with Rosie leading the way. And then the play to Juju, I'm not sure what down that was, but, finding a way to make a play by all parties, it's just awesome.
What's the way to do for this team fighting with all this stuff going around the team?
You know what, we always say winning cures a lot of things, but I still think the biggest issue, if you will, was outside the locker room, people perceiving different things. Not saying we don't have issues. All teams have issues, and there's different things going on. But I think it was a little bigger than people than it really is, than it was.
Then the touchdown drive at the end of the first half, you have all your timeouts, you come out, quickly go right down the field on that. A bunch of different receivers. Is that kind of how you envision that should work every time?
Yeah, I wish it would work like that every time. That's big for us, right? Knowing that you got to get points. You've got 3 timeouts, a minute and some change, and to take it down the field like we did against that defense that was throwing some different looks at us. Just proud of the way everybody stepped up linemen, because it's a big tempo. We're moving quick, and a lot of guys got involved on that drive, as well as all night. A lot of people made plays tonight.
What dimensions does Vance do to this offense?
Well, I think you saw it on his touchdown. He catches the ball, and he throws the guy to the ground and goes 70-some yards. So that's a big play for us. It's good to have another weapon out there to complement Jesse and some of the other guys.
And you guys were in shootouts back-to-back weeks. There's a couple more of those yesterday. Is this the way it's going to be?
I don't know. It didn't feel like we had the ball much in the second half. I think 3 possessions maybe, and we need to do better of putting it away. Obviously, we did at the end of the game. We had the ball. We take a knee. That's the best play in football for an offense. But we had a couple of drives before that we had a chance to end it, and that's what we want to do. We want to end it with the ball in our hand and not make our defense go out and step up like they did.
And, some teams just don't have the personality or the core to survive the kind of drama that you guys have already had to deal with. What is it about your group, about you, about your coach that allows you to get through something like your star running back not reporting, your star receiver not coming to work on?
We're used to it? No. Honestly, I think we've got a great group of veteran guys. Coach has been here for a long time. The linemen, I always say, are the catalyst of our group. I know I've been here for a long time, but that group of guys, that group of 5 guys, and then you throw B.J. Finney into it, and those guys just they drive us. I tell them before every game, we're going to go as you guys go. And that's true for the game, but it's also true kind of in life and in the locker room. They help control us, and we just got a veteran group that is able to kind of handle some of those distractions, if you will.
Victorious quarterback for Monday Night Football, quarterback Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh gets their first victory of the season there now. 1-1-1. A whole lot of ones going on there, and there should not be a third category in the wins and loss. You should not tie in the NFL. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some pick'ems as Matt Miller and I's Tuesday tradition of the college and NFL pick'ems from the previous week will be announced who did what and who is still in the lead and who is still looking from the bottom. That and much more coming up in Miller Time.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg, or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, a name you can trust.
When you or a loved one needs medical attention, but the thought of spending several hours in a waiting room makes you feel even worse, did you know at WVU Medicine Urgent Care Centers you can get in line before you leave the house? WVU Urgent Care's online scheduling allows you to wait more comfortably at home or wherever is convenient. Simply visit our website at uhpurgentcare.com and select an arrival time. WVU Medicine Urgent Care with 3 convenient locations in Charlestown, Inwood, and now open in Spring Mills.
The Red Raiders got themselves a star. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
Coming up on Saturday in Lubbock, West Virginia University's football team will face off against one of the surprise stories in all of college football. Texas Tech quarterback Alan Bowman, a true freshman, is right now rewriting the record books in the Big 12 Conference. Take a look at the standings going into this week when it comes to passing, and Bowman's name sits on top. That's right, above Will Grier, above Oklahoma's Kyler Murray. So far, Bowman has completed 72% of his passes. He's averaging 389 passing yards per game. Will Grier is at 372. If you don't know about Alan Bowman, don't be really down on yourself, because if you take a look at last year's recruiting profile on him, he had offers from, of course, Texas Tech, the others, Dartmouth, Columbia, Cincinnati, Arkansas State, and then he enrolled at Texas Tech. WVU head coach Dana Holgerson says he sees Bowman on tape, and he sees that he's getting wonderful coaching from head coach Cliff Kingsbury.
He's being coached by one of the best that's ever done it. So obviously Cliff was in that position as a young kid. This was back before we got to Texas Tech. He came in and played as a freshman and has that experience, so he knows what he's talking about, and he knows how to talk to those young kids. It's not the first young kid that he's had to deal with, so not surprising at all. The kid was a good player in high school, and if you get coached up and by Cliff, then you're going to be ready to go.
That is Dana Holgerson. So watch out on Saturday. Alan Bowman, Red Raiders of Texas Tech. He's got them rolling. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
It's that time of year again. I'm Ron Springer, head golf professional at the Woods, and I'm excited to announce the second annual Tournament of Champions on October 5th. Want to dethrone the 2017 champs? Now's the time to enter your team into one of the many qualifying tournaments here at the Woods. Not only can you win more money for your sponsoring organization, you can also win great prizes for you and your teammates. For a list of qualifying tournaments, see ads in the Journal, Around the Panhandle, and at thewoods.com. It's on.
Hello, racing fans. Get set for the best of thoroughbred racing action Saturday, October 13th at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. West Virginia Breeders' Classic 32 features local favorites vying for a year-end championship. Bring your family and friends for an exciting night of gaming, fine dining, and 9 action-packed races for West Virginia-owned, bred, and trained thoroughbreds. Post time is 7 p.m. at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. That's Saturday, October 13th. Make your plans now.
And they're off in the West Virginia Breeders' Classic.
And we welcome back into Miller Time. Just a few short minutes left in today's program. Nationals baseball still on right now. Looks like the rain has been holding off the last hour and a half or so. That game scheduled first pitch at 7:05. We will take you to the pregame at 6:30 in just 5 short minutes. Well, As Matt Miller was walking out of the building to go down to Shepherdstown to teach his class at Shepherd University tonight, he reminded me that the pick'ems had not been talked about from last week. We announced a new set of games every Wednesday, and then the following Tuesday, that would be today, looking back at last week, we talk about who picked correct and who didn't in our 12 overall games, 6 college, 6 professional. So I told him, well, he had to call in, and looking at the overall rankings, looks like I am still in the winners category right now. Matt, how's it going? It's been too long.
No. You said that wrong. It's not called the winners category because you haven't won yet. You're
the
in
current
the
leader category.
There you go. That sounds better.
Well, let's
Don't count your win before it happens.
Well, let's start in college. The games we had last week were K-State at WVU, Shepherd at West Virginia State, Minnesota at Maryland, Texas A&M at Bama, TCU at Texas, and NC State at Marshall. Matt Miller in those 3 games went 4-2. In those 6 games, I went 5-1. So, Matt, even with a 4-2 record, you still can't beat me week in and week out because you've had several 4-2 weeks and still have not won yet in the college pick'ems.
Well, I went with a pair of upsets just to see if I could, call one correctly and maybe gain some ground. It turns out if I would have just gone with the actual favorites, I would have still gotten you by a game because I had a chance to be undefeated on the college level. So I just got to play my cards a little more straight ahead and not try to, go for the big game.
I think we now know your strategy for the remainder of the season. Looking at the NFL side, we had the Packers at the Redskins, Denver at Baltimore, Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay, the Chargers at the Rams in the Battle of L.A., Jets and Browns, and Colts and Eagles. On the NFL side, I went 4-2, and Mr. Miller went 3-3. So, Matt, you were a game behind me in both sides.
So that means I've dropped 2 more games, but that's still within clear reaching distance. I just got to have a couple of good weeks ahead. And the NFL right now, good grief. How do you call any of those games?
Who knows? So I went overall in the 12 games. I went 9-3 last week, and you went 7-5. But that means you are now up over the 500 mark on the season. Through 4 weeks of these pick'ems, you are now 21-20 in second place and/or last, depending on which way you want to look at it. I am 26-15 in first place.
So again, I'm within striking distance. I'm in second. I'm right there. I still have the opportunity, and still plenty of games to come, including conference games in college and big division rivalry type games in the NFL.
There is still plenty of time left. Our pick'em games for this week coming up on tomorrow's edition of Miller Time. Matt, enjoy your class tonight. Thanks for calling in.
Take care.
All right, on to this weekend in college football. One of the games we'll be picking tomorrow is Concord coming down to Shepherdstown to take on the Shepherd University Rams. Homecoming at Shepherd this weekend. Tyson Bagent, the true freshman quarterback, was a Martinsburg Bulldog in high school, won a couple of state championships. Now a true freshman starting quarterback at Shepherd University, has won 2 Offensive Mountain East Player of the Week awards already in his young career. He's played 3 games and won 2 conference Offensive Player of the Week awards already. I had a chance to go down to Shepherdstown today and talk to Tyson. We started our conversation with the game last week and moved on to some special events going on this weekend.
Personally, I thought I was a little sloppy, but both these last couple wins, I thought the difference was that, I thought more of a team we came to play, and that just made all the difference.
You talk about seeing yourself as sloppy. Apparently, the Mountain East Conference didn't think so. Back-to-back Mountain East Offensive Player of the Week. What do you think about that when you heard about it?
To be honest, I was a little surprised this week, but, it's just a huge honor, and, I'm super grateful for all the accolades.
How do you look at your progression through 3 games now, from looking at training camp and now going into week 4?
I think it's, night and day from getting here, about 2 months ago, not knowing any of these dudes to now where, we're offensively and defensively, I think we're clicking pretty well. And I think it only goes up from here.
Shepherd starting quarterback Tyson Bagent. So ready to cut that a little bit short because, again, we got to go to Nationals baseball. Just a few short seconds left now. We thank you for tuning in to Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg and Miller Time. Nationals taking on the Miami Marlins tonight. Their last home game of the season, their last home series of the season. Last game will be tomorrow night. That'll be a day game, actually, 3:30 first pitch. But now, time to send you to Charlie and Dave and Washington Nationals baseball. You can listen to Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR.
Is back in Washington, D.C.